It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I'm your host, Jake Sheff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. This past weekend, residents got to get a head start on their holiday shopping with the West Acres Craft Show, a beloved annual event highlighting the talent and creativity of the West Acres community, with several different creations on display to purchase. I stopped by the event to hear what some of the vendors and residents had to say on what this craft show provides to them.
Oh, it's great. I have been here for about the last 6 years. I grew up in West Acres, so this is my neighborhood. I love to support this, and they've always had wonderful crafters here. The neighborhood supports the show very nicely.
It's very exciting. There are so many nice people. This is my first booth that I've done by myself, so I'm having a lot of fun, and I've sold a few things, so I love it. It's been great. I love watching people enjoy everybody's different way of expressing their art, so it's just fun watching people like what people do and have fun talking and see new people, see people that have been around the neighborhood, so that's been fun too.
So what have you seen from everybody here today checking out the West Acres Craft Show?
Well, the turnout is fantastic. The place is very crowded. Everyone seems to be having a good time, and the vendors are wonderful. There are some new vendors here that I hadn't seen in the past, and all of the work is just top-notch, and it's a very, very good environment and happy, and it's fun today. It's exciting.
All the great things that the West Acres Craft Show is doing, it's all going to an amazing cause, isn't that right?
Yes, it is. It goes to a charity every year. They choose a animal rescue, and it also goes to continue the programs here at West Acres.
This year's charity for the West Acres Craft Show was the Michigan Animal Rescue League, a nonprofit animal welfare providing the highest quality of life to dogs and cats through rescue, medical care, and sanctuary.
I think it's so important that the community still do local programs like this, especially with everything happening in the world. Everyone has a lot of things going on, and this brings a community together, and you do get to see the wonderful artwork that some of the local artisans do that we wouldn't know about if they didn't have programs like this.
Yeah, it's really good to see the local stuff being done too and being showcased. You know, you got everyone from woodworkers like me to people are knitting, crocheting, and jewelry designers, and all kinds of different things. Just that there's so much local talent. I mean, if you look around, there's so many things people are so talented doing different things that they love and enjoy.
I hope that when they come and see me, I have return customers, because you're never going to see the same design. So when you come back, I'm not going to have the same thing that I did the previous year. So I'm hoping that you're wearing a one-of-a-kind piece that doesn't look commercial and that is unique, that nobody else is wearing.
That's right. There's something for everybody. There was something for everybody at this event, and hopefully a lot of great early Christmas ideas to give to the family in just a few short weeks. So big thank you to the West Acres Craft Show for having me stop by and for checking out all of the incredible sights. Very, very soon, the High Tops and High Heels event will be taking place with West Bloomfield Parks. The beloved mother-son dance will be taking place on November 21st from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at the Glen Oaks Golf Course in Farmington Hills. Although not explicitly a holiday event in the title, the timing in late November near the Thanksgiving holiday season makes it well-placed for family togetherness, festive dressing, and memory making as the holidays quickly approach. Crystal Smith, the recreation programmer for West Bloomfield Parks, joined us on the Splash Live to tell us more. Crystal, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Of course, great to have you with us. Always love talking about these wonderful events for the Greater West Bloomfield community. How do you hope this event will bring mothers and their sons together in such a meaningful way?
Well, why this event is so special is it gives mothers and sons the unique chance to dress up and share quality time together, whether they're in their high tops or high heels or both. It's one of our most popular community traditions, celebrating family fun and togetherness. This event is especially important for strengthening a parent child bond. I feel like events like this give mothers and their sons dedicated time together, away from screens, schedules, and distractions, simply to have fun and connect one on one. And it also gives each family a chance to celebrate community as well as promote social confidence. So, younger boys attending a dance helps them learn social skills like respect, kindness, and inclusion in a comfortable and family friendly setting.
That's right. All important quality time and family time to be spending with the person you love the most. And not only that, but this event is scheduled for late November, which of course is right around the holidays. How does this timing tie into the holiday season and family traditions?
You know, it's scheduled for Friday, November 21st, so right before Thanksgiving. So, just a special opportunity for the holiday planning to maybe take a pause and have mothers and sons come together and have some fun together, create new traditions, and there's going to be so much fun things to do at this dance, like having a temporary tattoo station, balloon artist from Tip Top Entertainment, chances to take photographs and capture all the memories. And I think it ties into the holiday spirit in the sense that we're spending time together, but we're also not stressing about a large meal that we have to cook or who's going to invite the relatives over. So it's something special that moms and sons can look forward to. They'll be able to enjoy a dinner buffet stocked full of delicious food like herb baked chicken, chicken nuggets, mac and cheese, potatoes, salad bar, and delicious dessert options too.
You are really painting a picture. And I was at the event last year, so I saw all of the fun that all of these families had during this event. I'm sure it's going to be a very similar environment this year. What kind of atmosphere are you aiming for during this evening?
The atmosphere I'm aiming for all of our families in attendance is that they just get to enjoy a night out with each other, let loose on the dance floor. We'll have Super DJ Dave on the dance floor with interactive games and activities. So he'll keep those boys busy dancing and running around all night. And hopefully at the end, they'll be tuckered out and have some good sleep and moms can relax. And also I'm really looking forward to seeing, the mom friends come together and enjoy the night out with their boys as well.
That's absolutely right. And there's also going to be professional portraits and photography memories all throughout the evening. How important are those aspects to an event like this, would you say?
Well, we offer both. We have the free selfie station to capture those candid moments, and then we do have professional portraits available from TSS Photography. Those will be on sale for an additional fee, and they'll be printed right on site for you to take that special photo home. I think it's important to capture those memories because you want to remember how you got your son dressed up so cute in his suit and tie, and how wonderful the mother looks in her beautiful dress or gown, and just the specialness. It's so special to see them dressed up and dancing and laughing and enjoying a meal together, as well as spending time with other community members that are there for the same reason.
You're absolutely right. And I mean, these kids, they're not going to be little kids forever. They're going to grow up before you know it. So these photos are going to be a wonderful memento to look back on in the years to come as you remember how much fun you had during an event like this. And when it comes to high tops and high heels, in what ways does this event help connect the community during the holiday season? And that, I mean, residents from across the region, residents, non-residents, everybody.
Well, events like this just bring people together. Families might come together, or families might come separately, and they might meet some new friends. It's always our hope that the young boys find some friends on the dance floor to pal around with at the dance, and then that encourages the moms to meet some new friends as well. So we're always hoping that our WB Parks events can bring people together and celebrate these traditions together year after year. It's just so important for our community to not only be entertained by our events, but also to have something to take away, like a photo or a new friend's phone number or a delicious meal that they didn't have to worry about preparing for their family that evening.
It absolutely is important. And the fact that the community comes out for events like this year after year, that tells me that you are doing something right. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with West Bloomfield Park's recreation programmer, Crystal Smith, who's talking about the High Tops and High Heels Mother-Son Dance that's going to be taking place on November 21st from 6 to 8:30 at Glen Oaks Golf Course. Now, Crystal, what would you most like to see in terms of participation or experience with this event? What are you most looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to the different age ranges that attend this event. So we've had mothers and sons as young as 2 to 6, and then we've had some of the older sons, you know, the teenage boys, and even older than that. So it's just so special that these moms are keeping their traditions going with their boys. And it's just wonderful to see the confidence that comes from these boys, the different attitudes that they have when they're dressed up versus in their regular school clothes. You know, they just feel special, and you feel that specialness in the whole environment of the Glen Oaks Golf Course ballroom, if you will. And it's so special to see them dancing and running and interacting with Super DJ Dave, because he really gets the crowd hyped up and alive, and that's what I look most forward to.
That's what everybody looks forward to, and everyone is going to have such a blast at this event on November 21st. Now, this event has been going on for quite a few years now. How do you hope to see this event continuing to evolve and grow in the years to come, would you say?
In the years to come, you know, venues may change, buffet styles may change. We're hoping to grow registration in the future. We're hoping to add in some new themes, but for now we're keeping it simple with just a mother-son dance at High Tops, High Heels with WB Parks. But in the future, I'm hoping to grow registration, experience at our new Community Connect Center here in West Bloomfield, fingers crossed down the line, and hopefully allow for more attendance in the future. And, you know, some of our returning families inviting some of their new friends to join us as well.
That's absolutely right. We want to see as many people out at this event as possible. Got a couple more questions, Crystal, before we wrap things up. Out of everything that takes place with this event, what do you hope families take away the most? Whether that be memories, bonding, new traditions, anything.
All the 3 things that you've just named, I hope that they take those away. I hope that they also get to experience some fun giveaways from our event sponsor, Goldfish Swim School. They're always there to hand out their little fishies and encourage safe swimming lessons, as well as, you know, build community with some of our event staff here at WB Parks. It's wonderful that they're aware of these events, and it's even more special when they want to know more about what WB Parks is doing. So this is a great stepping stone, if you will, to get folks involved in more of our events that aren't just family related. So we have all sorts of special events, nature events, senior events, and diversity inclusion events as well.
That's absolutely right. I'm sure you guys got plenty of fun events as we move on from fall and start to get ready for winter. Crystal, where can people go to learn a little bit more information about this event and about everything that West Bloomfield Parks has in store going forward?
You can visit us right at wbparks.org by clicking on the events tab. You can view our calendar of events there, as well as our Facebook page and Instagram page. We always share fun photos of our events, so make sure you check out our latest trick or treat trail post. And then I did just want to finally comment that space is limited for our dance, so register early. The deadline is November 16th, and I hope everyone comes ready to dance, laugh, and make memories that will last them a lifetime.
November 16th is the deadline. Want to see as many families out at this event as possible. Crystal, thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
Thank you.
One more reminder, the High Tops and High Heels Mother-Son Dance will be taking place on November 21st from 6 to 8:30 p.m. at the Glen Oaks Golf Course in Farmington Hills. We appreciate Crystal for taking the time to talk with us about the event here on the Splash Live. As many of you know, the West Bloomfield Laker football season came to an end recently with a loss against the Brighton Bulldogs. But regardless of the early playoff exit, it was still an electrifying season for the Lakers with plenty to be proud of. And with football in the rear view, attention now begins to shift to winter sports seasons, basketball, hockey, you name it. Eric Pierce, the athletic director for West Bloomfield High School, joins us right now on the Splash Live to tell us more. Eric, thank you so much for joining us today.
No, thank you for having me as always. It's always a pleasure to be on.
Great to have you with us. Let's jump right into, let's first talk about this football season, which obviously it might have ended maybe a little earlier than I think a lot of us expected it to, but it was a great season for the Lakers. Now that the football season has officially wrapped up, how would you describe this year's team and the journey that they've had from start to finish?
Well, there were a lot of question marks going into the season this year. Obviously, every year we have to replace a lot of talented athletes at West Bloomfield High School. And one of the things that stood out right away was the teamwork, the level of passion that these players had. And they had leaders on the team, the Jeremiah Bensons of the world, Jamal Shakespeare, Travis Robertson, Will Espy. Those are guys that are great team players and basically led us to having a great regular season at 7-2. You look at our schedule every single year, and it's always extremely difficult. So to be able to go out there and win 7 games during the regular season is a true testament to the way that this team came together and found a way to compete and win in those games.
You're right. A 7-2 record is nothing to sneeze at, and a lot of big names that I'm sure are going to make even bigger names for themselves once they make it off to college. But how did you see the players grow, both on and off the field, over the course of the season, would you say?
Yeah, I think the big thing that you see people developing leadership skills, and they go through a lot together. And in all our sports at West Bloomfield, with all the preparation and all the off-season workouts and everything they do to represent our school, it's just truly a blessing to be able to watch these student athletes go out there and compete at the highest level. We always see a better product at the end of the year than we see at the beginning of the year, and that's a true testament to the players themselves as well as the coaches that are out there working with them. Our goal is to help them achieve their goals, and whether that means playing in college or playing beyond that or just having a great experience in high school, that's what we want to help them do. And I think that we did that with all of our fall sports this year.
That's what you guys are there for, and it's great to see all of that hard work pay off with this team. Looking back, what are you personally most proud of about this group of athletes and the coaching staff's efforts this year?
Yeah, just the never give up attitude. They came in this year and they said they had something to prove, and I think they did that. Going out and starting off the way that we did with the 37-0 victory over Dearborn-Fortson when there were some question marks. And obviously that's a team that finished 7-2 in the regular season as well. And to come out and blank them like we did, that kind of set the tone for the year. And then with victories over Southfield and then Groves and Rochester Adams. And, it was an awesome start. And the team itself just had a passion, and you can tell it by the way they played on the field. And they truly care for each other and they care for their coaches, and they were a great representation of West Bloomfield athletics.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Definitely a great football season. Can't wait to see what's to come with these athletes in the years to come and as some go off to college. But as we said, the football season has come to a close, and now we're starting to look ahead through the rest of the school year and some of the other sports that are coming up very, very soon. As the football season is closing, how do you and the athletic department transition your focus to the winter sports season?
Yeah, the first thing we do is we try to wrap up what's going on with the fall sports, and we try to recognize those individuals and those teams that did a fantastic job in the fall sports season. You know, we talk about teams like our cross country team, our boys cross country team that won the OA Blue Division, or our girls golf team that won the OA Gold. You know, individual performances so far, like Elizabeth Eichbrecht in swimming, who's set 2 state records already so far this year, and they're still actually competing right now. You know, just a lot of wonderful things from the fall, and we try to celebrate those things. And then what we do is we shift gears and plan and try to provide the best opportunities for our winter sports to achieve at the levels that they have. Obviously, when the winter sports season comes around, one of the first things that we talk about is we talk about girls basketball. Our girls basketball program, as you know, has been, you know, to the Breslin Center the last 4 years in a row, going to at least the semifinals and winning 2 state championships in those times as well. So we're looking forward to another wonderful season from our girls basketball program. Obviously, they're led by a number of talented athletes. Sheridan Beal is committed to North Alabama, and she's going to be out there scoring a bunch for us again this season. And London Hall is going to lend her leadership in the middle as well.
Sounds like West Bloomfield is just filled to the brim with young athletic talent, and I always love to hear it. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with the athletic director for West Bloomfield High School, Eric Pierce, about the upcoming winter sports season as football comes to a close, and we're starting to look ahead through the next few months. Now, Eric, how do you maintain that same level of school spirit and community support across all of the different athletic programs throughout the year?
Yeah, that's a great question. And to tell you the truth, it's extremely tough at times. And it's not because the people don't want to be supportive of everything, but especially with winter sports, a lot of them take place off-site. You know, you look at hockey, you look at skiing, snowboarding, bowling. These are all sports that aren't taking place, obviously, at West Bloomfield High School, although I'd love to have a bowling alley here. It'd be nice. But it's one of those things where you just try to inform everybody of what's going on. You try to make sure that they're excited for the teams, that they're aware of how the teams are performing. And our fans are great because they will show up. You know, obviously boys basketball and girls basketball are probably the biggest draws that we have in terms of attendance and community support during the winter sports season. But you'll see our fans at the ice hockey games. You'll see our fans that come out and they'll actually, you know, come to the wrestling meets and all those different types of things that occur as well. And it's great to have because, you know, all these student athletes are putting in their time, they're putting in their effort, and they're really representing Laker Nation extremely well.
That's right, and I'd say that energy is just really, really infectious for everybody, and especially with the football program, which I think kind of sets the stage for the school year itself, and especially with a very strong football season. How would you say the success and culture of the football program helps to influence or maybe inspire other sports at West Bloomfield High School?
For sure. It always gets us off to a great start. You know, when there's excitement that starts with athletics, and it starts right when school starts, obviously that's when the first football game is usually, it kind of carries over. It sets the trend for the year. And, you know, our fall sports, whether it was like boys soccer or field hockey or whoever else, girls swim, I mean, they were able to experience a lot of crowds out there this year and a lot of fans that were cheering for them. Volleyball especially too. We just had our volleyball districts yesterday actually, and it was cool when you see all of our fans that are coming to venues that aren't West Bloomfield and cheering on our programs. Well, there's an away game in football or away game in soccer or whatever. It's great to see the West Bloomfield fans there, and I truly appreciate all the support that our community gives us.
It just goes to show how impactful a lot of these teams are to the community, and it shows how great of work that you and the rest of the coaching staff does all throughout West Bloomfield High School. And the Laker community is known for its strong support. How did you see that play out this season, and what impact do you think that community support has on its athletes?
Well, it gives them something to play for. Honestly, there's something different about playing in front of a large group of fans that are cheering for you. It's always that, it's kind of cliche, but when you feel down and you feel out, or you feel tired, or you feel any of those emotions that are out there on the field of play, and then you have somebody cheering for you and telling you can do it, or you look in the crowd and you're like, oh, I don't want to let people down. It's a great motivator. And to have that support, it just gives that extra edge to our teams. And I really see it in the way that our teams play. And they're proud to represent West Bloomfield. And whether it's in the classroom or on the fields, we're hoping that we're making everybody proud with our athletics program.
I think you absolutely are every single day. Now, you've been going through a lot of the different sports that we're going to have within the next few months. You've said basketball, cross country. Are there some sports that maybe people aren't as aware of that you want to highlight with West Bloomfield right now?
There's always a ton of sports going on at West Bloomfield, and we have a lot of programs that are going on in the winter. Just to give you a brief list, obviously people know about boys basketball and girls basketball. Boys basketball, we're looking forward to a great season. Curtis Britton coming back, one of our leading scorers. Girls basketball, we talked a little bit about earlier. Winter is also home to boys swim. We have our ice hockey team that's now combined with Bloomfield Hills and Waterford. So we are actually called Lakes United. Logan Scheitz, one of our leading goal scorers, he's coming back for our ice hockey program this year as well. Competitive cheer is coming off of a league championship, and they're competing in the wintertime. We have our POMS program going. We have boys and girls bowling that's going. Skiing is actually going to start, weather dependent with everything that we have with skiing. But skiing and snowboarding both are going on this winter. And I tell you what, it's so much fun to go out to the hill and watch those events, just to see the level of competition that's out there. It's kind of like watching the Olympics. It's great for me. We have wrestling that's coming off a district championship that's obviously just starting right now again. So proud of our wrestling program. The number of student athletes that participate every year, we were up to like 60 students that participated in wrestling last year, and that's amazing. And then something else is figure skating that is out there, one of our sports that we've had some great success in over the last few years. That's starting as well.
Awesome. You are really setting the stage. Lots to look forward to with West Bloomfield Athletics. Eric, I got one more question before we wrap things up. As you look ahead, what are your biggest goals for the athletic department and for continuing to build on West Bloomfield's proud sports tradition?
Yeah, for sure. One of the biggest goals that we always have as an athletic department is we want to make sure that our student athletes experience the best there is to offer in educational athletics. And when I say experience, that means that they look back at it years down the road and they say, wow, those were some great times. We had the community support, we had the support of our school, we had the support of our administration, and we want them to look back on their time at West Bloomfield Athletics and look back fondly at what they did here. In addition to that, there's always, work that's being done on our facilities that we look to keep expanding and doing great things so that we can provide these opportunities, whether it's, doing things in the weight room, doing things off season for conditioning stuff, or just providing a great place to play. Those are all parts of what we try to provide for our student athletes to make it that big positive experience that they want.
I love to hear it, Eric, and can't wait to see what's to come throughout the remainder of the West Bloomfield school year. Thank you so much for joining us today here on the Splash Live.
No, thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. From basketball to volleyball to cross country to figure skating, so many great sports on the horizon with the West Bloomfield High School and their athletic teams. I can't wait to see it. Shop Sylvan 2025 is back. Celebrate creativity, craftsmanship, and community spirit at this vibrant showcase of local makers and small businesses in the heart of Sylvan Lake. And it's all taking place this Sunday, November 9th from 12 to 4 p.m. at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Allison Kuhn, the COO of Shop Sylvan, recently joined us on the Splash Live to tell us what we can expect.
Allison, thank you for coming on the show today. Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Happy to have you on as we get ready for November 9th, noon to 4 p.m., when Shop Sylvan returns to the Sylvan Lake Community Center. For those not familiar with it, maybe they didn't join in last year, what is Shop Sylvan? How can people get involved?
So Shop Sylvan is a local art. It's it's more of an art show that is some crafts, but also we also have a lot of food, and it is a celebration of the residents of Kego and Sylvan. So we have a lot of local people. It's all local who are providing their goods and wares and their art that they want to share with the community.
And this year has a particular theme. The focus is on, quote unquote, artisan small business excellence. How does Shop Sylvan highlight and support local businesses and local makers in this way with an event like this at the Sylvan Lake Community Center?
Right. Thank you so much for asking that. So what we do is it's a highly vetted process. We have a long list of people who would love to be part of Shop Sylvan, but we are very particular about what we pick. We want it to be super high quality. We want people to come in and have items that they actually really, really want to buy. And this year we are focusing on people who have never been a part of Shop Sylvan before. So we have a lot of new artists that will be there. And even some jewelry makers and clothing makers who will be making stuff for you on the spot. So you can get unique items that you can't get anywhere else, tailored to just exactly your taste.
And that's going to be on November 9th, noon to 4 p.m. at the Sylvan Lake Community Center if you want to shop there. In terms of makers, is the window now at this point closed to try to get in on the experience this year? And if that is the case, when should they be considering putting their name in the hat for 2026?
Yes, it is closed, and it has been closed for a while. We're limited by a certain amount of space. But if they would love to be considered for the future, again, it is a Sylvan and Kego focused residence. There's so much talent in this area. We have such a long list, but we would love to hear from anybody who is interested in being a part of it. They can contact us on social media at Shop Sylvan on Instagram. And we'd love to see their social media and what they're doing. And we would always love to take a peek and consider them for the future.
That's, again, on Instagram at Shop Sylvan. That's SHOPPE Sylvan.
Yes.
No space, no underscore, just Shop Sylvan on Instagram. And as you mentioned, there's so many great makers and artists in the Tri-Cities area, in particular in Kego. In Sylvan Lake, Art Sale is an organization that really highlights them all throughout the year, and we see that at shows all across Oakland County, including at yours coming up at Shop Sylvan. So with all that talent, with so much interest in participating in Shop Sylvan, how did you and your team ultimately decide on the crop of makers and small business owners that will be featured at this year's event?
Yes. Okay. So it is. We always wanted. This year we're trying to offer some new artists that haven't been, because we do have such a long list of people that want to be a part of it. We're trying to give everybody a chance. We do have a couple returners just because they're a big draw. So we want all of the vendors to be successful. We would love every single one of them to sell out. That would be our goal. So we have a couple and then we do have some brick and mortars from the area. Sylvan Table, Lost Sailor, are all going to be there. So they think Local Acre is another one that will be there selling their goods. That will bring a draw of residents who know them, so that then the new people can get a chance to be for exposure.
And there's a lot of love between Sylvan Lake and Kego Harbor and the other areas in the greater West Bloomfield community, outskirts into Waterford and Pontiac. It's all a very friendly, sort of a family environment, kind of a sibling rivalry in some aspects. But with something like this, when you have those deep roots in these communities, and then individually in each one of these cities, how does something like this help to further bridge some of the gaps that may be there between these communities, but still, even more so, bring these communities, both individually and collectively, even closer together?
Yeah, we actually love that, because I think when you have the option to shop local and support your neighbor, as opposed to a big Target or something like that, I think if you think, oh my gosh, I need a gift, let me call my neighbor who makes sourdough, and it gets delivered, locally in my neighborhood, it's a much better feeling, and it kind of brings us all together. And hopefully what it will also do is inspire some people living in those areas to maybe let their passion shine and start a little kind of company of their own selling their goods.
Allison Kuhn is with us, the COO of Shop Sylvan, which will be November 9th from noon to 4 p.m. at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. If you want more information, see some of the makers from last year's event and follow along for this year. They are on Instagram at Shop Sylvan. That's SHOPPE, Sylvan, on Instagram for more information and to follow along with them. And looking through the pictures from last year, and you mentioned this also, there's artisans of so many different varieties, vendors of so many different varieties that were at last year's event. I expect a lot of the same this year. What is on the docket? What will people see when they go to the Sylvan Lake Community Center?
So we have a clothing company and a jewelry company that will be making stuff on site, so you can get a unique item right then and there. But also we have some surprises in store. As you know, we do tend to come around the crowd and pass out goodies from local places free of charge. And we do have a $2 entry fee. We hope that helps to make it accessible for everyone that lives in those communities. We'd love to see our residents at this event. And yeah, that's there's a couple. We'll have ice cream, chocolate, the sourdough, a soup person this year. So some really good food out there. And then we have also always the lotion. We have a new tallow company, candles, paintings this year. So it'll be it's pretty diverse. We're very excited for it.
It's a great environment, wide open area at the Sylvan Lake Community Center that's perfect for walking through and seeing all these different vendors from right here in your community in a very well-controlled environment through what can often be a difficult fall in the state of Michigan. It'll be a lovely day out there, November 9th, noon to 4 p.m. Shop Sylvan at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. And you've mentioned this in the past with us, and it's part of your entire mission statement, that this is not a fundraiser or necessarily just a straight-up PR opportunity for these local businesses. It's a mission-driven party. It's a celebration of these local businesses, which even goes back to the admission price that customers have going in, actually going to these vendors too, collectively at the end of the day. Talk about why that was an important part of the mission behind Shop Sylvan, to keep that impact not only for that direct shopper to business opportunity, but also to have the funds from the admissions also still in some way go back to these vendors.
Yeah, again, like we're saying, we want the vendors to be successful. My partner Kelly Krause and I, this is a labor of love. We love Sylvan, we love Kego, we love where we live. It is an amazing community. The people are wonderful, and this is our gift back to them. Her and I together, we love to do this, and we just want to make sure that the wonderful people of these communities are highlighted and get to show off what they're doing. Again, we believe in shopping local so much more than a big corporate that doesn't really make a difference to anybody, bottom line. But there was one vendor who sold out last year who was able to pay for her honeymoon. So that's like that to us is such a special story and an important gift to our community. And hopefully also what we hope happens is that even if you peruse through Shop Sylvan on November 9th, you don't purchase anything, but 6 months later you think of something you need a gift for, or something you need for yourself, or you just don't want to cook dinner that night. So you think of one of these places that's coming in your mind to use and to patronize.
And it's right around that time. It's a short time after Halloween. It's a few weeks before Thanksgiving, but it's right in that very early window where people start to think about the holidays. They're looking for that perfect gift. And there's something so unique about finding an interesting item or something that a friend or a family member would really enjoy that's been made by someone you can look at, you can talk to, you see all the time. Why is this a great place to go for people that are looking for those interesting trinkets early on before the holidays that are going to be a big hit come the end of the year?
Right. So yeah, I think again, you can get things that are so unique to you. The clothing company and the jewelry company, for example, my father-in-law is getting a little bit older, and I plan to make some bracelets for my family members this year with his handwriting that says "I love you." So that's something that you could never get anywhere else. There's going to be paintings this year of Sylvan Lake, different scenes around Sylvan. So again, if you're passionate about Sylvan Lake, so many of the residents are, you could get a gift there that's just unique that you can't get anywhere else. And so we are really excited to let all of those vendors shine.
And finally, Allison, this is one of many different events that happens all throughout the years that ties Sylvan Lake together, that helps to build those bonds between Sylvan and Kego and other neighboring areas in the lakes section of southeastern Michigan. How does Shop Sylvan tie into that larger vision for maintaining that unity, that small town feel, and that personal nature that comes with being in a city like Sylvan Lake, in an area like the Tri-Cities?
Yeah, I think, you walk into that community center where we do have a lot of events, and for the residents of Sylvan and Kego, and you'll see your neighbors. If you've ever been in the community center, there's a beautiful fire. We'll have that going. We will have a one-man band singing. So it will be a party with capital ART, an art party. And again, hopefully you'll run into your neighbors. They'll tell you about something they've purchased that they love. You can say, oh my gosh, I've never tried that. Let me go get some. Stuff like that. Just building the sense of community between the people who live here. And I think, so even if you don't even purchase anything, just running into your neighbors, having a good time, maybe taking some free samples, and just enjoying a Sunday afternoon with your friends.
Getting to see the talent and the passion from people right here in your community. A great way to kick off the later portion of the fall as we wrap up the year in the prettiest little city in Michigan. Allison, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Once again, Shop Sylvan is going to be taking place this Sunday, November 9th, from 12 to 4 p.m. at the Sylvan Lake Community Center. Big thank you to Allison for stopping by and for telling us all about it here on the Splash Live. The Chaldean Community Foundation opened its doors a few months ago, and ever since then, they've unveiled several different classes and initiatives for the greater West Bloomfield community, including cooking classes, reading classes, and language classes as well. Farah Shamami, the program coordinator for the Chaldean Community Foundation, recently joined us on the Splash Live to tell us all about these language classes and what they provide. Farah, thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Jake. Good morning. Thank you for having me on today.
Of course. Good morning to you as well. I'm going to jump right into it. What inspired the Chaldean Community Foundation to include Chaldean language courses as part of its new West Bloomfield Center offerings?
So I'm sure many people may know that there is another Chaldean Community Foundation in Sterling Heights, but this location here in West Bloomfield, the focus is on cultural preservation. And one of the things that we'd love to preserve is the Chaldean language. We have started classes for youth as well as adults. We kicked off in the summer and had a class for teenagers. It was very well the response to that class was amazing. We had nearly 17 kids take that class that came in every Monday and Wednesday from 9 to 11 a.m. for 6 weeks.
Great, and that's awesome that these classes have already made such an impact on the community. How would you say these classes help to preserve and strengthen the cultural identity of the Chaldean community, especially among younger generations?
Well, being born and raised here in America, we spoke primarily Arabic or Chaldean at home. But going to school, English is where we learned and picked up a new language. But then it was difficult to learn a second language. And so now a lot of the youth regret not learning the language at home. And so a lot of people are, again, they're very eager to register and start the classes.
I'd imagine so. Now, as you mentioned, there already have been a few classes that have taken place, and there's another wave of classes that is taking place right now. How has the community response been so far to the introduction of these language classes in West Bloomfield? What have some of the students had to say?
Oh, the students are amazing. They walk into the class and they're greeting each other and the instructors in Chaldean. So another word for hello in Chaldean is shlama. And so that's what they say. And then when they leave, they say posh bishlama, which is goodbye. They're enjoying learning numbers and they're learning the days of the week. And, these are, although they're walking away with a great grammar knowledge, it's eventually we'd love to teach reading and writing as well.
Of course, and I like that these classes are making it so that you enter the class and you're already speaking the language, kind of like the language classes that I've taken throughout high school and through college. It's a language course, and that's exactly what you are meant to do. So that's perfect. Getting that experience out of the way is perfect. In what ways do you hope these classes will foster connection between both longtime residents and maybe some of the newest members of the Chaldean community?
Well, I think some of the connections are that, we all come from the same place. So we grow up, learning the Chaldean culture, the traditions, the heritage, but now here's another component. It's the language. And so I think this will go on for many, many years as they continue to learn. And then we're also integrating cooking. So we've started our kitchen here, and we have a demo kitchen, and we've been teaching Chaldean dishes as well.
I love that. More and more great opportunities to learn throughout West Bloomfield. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Farah Shamami, the program coordinator for the Chaldean Community Foundation, talking about the language courses for the Chaldean language that are currently underway and available with the Chaldean Cultural Center in West Bloomfield. Now, Farah, these language courses, how do they complement maybe the broader mission of the Chaldean Community Foundation and its expansion into West Bloomfield and hopefully beyond West Bloomfield as well?
So we're looking, part of it is to, again, preserve the culture. The Chaldean language, Aramaic, that's the language that Jesus spoke. We're very proud to be able to speak that language. And then as kids and adults learn it and continue to speak it, the language is more well known. Currently, we do have a non-Chaldean in our language class, our adult language class, that comes in every Monday and wants to learn because they have a lot of Chaldean clients. And so it's great to be able to communicate with others.
That's perfect. I love it. Reaching beyond the Chaldean community in West Bloomfield. I always love to hear it. And you've talked about the language classes and you've also talked about the cooking classes that are underway with the center. Are there any future plans to expand these language programs or maybe incorporate other cultural education initiatives at the new center?
Absolutely. So the language classes that we have currently for this fall semester are for youth and adults. And we'll continue to have 2 to 3 classes per semester for the different age ranges. But coming in 2026, the Chaldean Cultural Center and Museum will be moving here to the foundation from Shenandoah Country Club. So our mission here will continue to grow and, educate and inspire others.
Perfect. Bringing more history to West Bloomfield for everybody to see. That is amazing. Now, as you mentioned, the fall semester classes are currently underway. How can people who might be interested in learning the Chaldean language get involved, and where can they go to learn a little more information?
So follow us on social media. We have a Facebook, we've got Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. But also another great way to communicate with us is through our chamber or through our foundation's website, chaldeanfoundation.org. And on there, it does say there's a tab that says CCF West, and then you can volunteer. There are a list of events which include the language classes as well as the cooking classes.
Perfect. Great ways for everybody to get involved. Farah, I got one more question before we wrap things up. What would you like to say to maybe some other families who are watching this, looking to get involved with the Chaldean Center and looking to support the program's growth and the center's growth in any way they can, whether that be by taking classes, volunteering, or something else?
I would say that you're never too old or too young to learn something new, whether it's language, whether it's cooking. I know some of it may seem daunting, but until you're immersed in it, I think then you'll really enjoy it and say it wasn't too bad. But then also coming in here, you can schedule a tour on our site as well, and on the you can tour the building. We can walk you through the classrooms, the kitchen. We've got, very, state-of-the-art technology here. We have a beautiful library here that houses a lot of books in Chaldean as well as Arabic. So lots of great and fun, interesting things to see here. And then we're also bringing in older adult programming.
You are absolutely right. Plenty of great things to see at the Chaldean Cultural Center in West Bloomfield, and can't wait to see what else is to come. Farah, thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Thank you for having me. Have a great day.
Big thank you to Farah Shamami for stopping by The Splash Live, for telling us all about these great Chaldean classes available at the Chaldean Community Foundation. With AI becoming more of a mainstay in our society, that comes with its fair share of pros and cons. One of those cons being the possibility to alter and spread misinformation. The West Bloomfield Police Department has been cracking down on AI misinformation, and just recently, Detective Phil Pacheco from the West Bloomfield Police Department joined us on The Splash to talk about how to spot falsities like this in the future.
Detective Pacheco, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, good morning.
Glad to have you on to talk about this. Good morning to you as well. It's an important topic, certainly on the minds of a lot of people in our community as AI becomes more ubiquitous from a technological standpoint with everyday people in our community. It also becomes even more advanced with scammers. At this time, what are some of the key points people need to be looking out for? What are some of the ways that scammers are using AI to target everyday people here in Greater West Bloomfield and beyond?
What we've seen recently over the past couple of years is that, really the most vulnerable people in our community, which those are, the elderly. We do have a large elderly population. They can be very easily fooled by this. So one thing that we're seeing that's being used by criminals to, scam the elderly or trick them is they'll receive a phone call, and they are so adamant that this sounded just like my grandson, my son, my daughter, whoever. This sounded just like them, and they needed help. They needed money. I needed to bond them out of jail. And we've had our residents here lose close to $100,000 and everything in between because they do fall victim to this.
And so what are some of those key ways that people can tell the difference between this is really my son, my daughter, my grandchild, a close friend, whomever it may be in their life, versus someone using technology to spoof a very similar way of speaking?
Well, I think it starts with, if you do have a elderly family member, it just starts with education. And I think the easiest thing that you can do and implement is some kind of safe word, like a code word. But first educating them on this extremely urgent phone call that they may get when, hey, I need money right now, this needs to happen. Being able to recognize that is step one, that's a little off. And then step two would be, okay, what is the code word for this? And it could, could be anything unique to your family. And, obviously if it is your family, they're going to know that code word. If it's not, then you know that you're, likely being attempted to be victimized at that time.
And these are scams that are just starting to be more on the rise, more commonplace across many communities. They target people that are typically in elder populations, may not be as technologically savvy, and may not have the media literacy that others in younger populations have. But that doesn't mean that people in younger demographics aren't also susceptible to this. Detective Pacheco, usually that manifests itself in the way of misinformation or disinformation, especially on social media. What are some of the common ways that that is manifested nowadays?
With the ability to take somebody's face, like we all love posting pictures of our family, our children, things that we do that we share with the people that we know and love on social media. But the technology exists to take that person's face and use it in a criminal way. It could be for extortion. It could be for very other, horrible activities, especially when it comes to a minor or a child. So you just need to be careful what you're putting out there. And I think educating yourself on what somebody can do, with your face, with your voice, things like that is step one for every family. You need to talk about this as a family because it is real and it is happening.
And it goes back to some of those privacy settings that you really want to be mindful of. Who you're also bringing into some of these social media can also play a big impact in that. Do you know this person? Do they look familiar to you? If not, probably shouldn't have access to your information, especially now with the advent of AI, and it's certainly going to get a lot more advanced as time goes on. Detective Phil Pacheco is with us from the West Bloomfield Police Department. More helpful advice and safety information from our local PD can be found on Facebook at West Bloomfield PD. Detective Pacheco, from the law enforcement standpoint, what new maybe training methods are being brought in or may be employed soon for our local departments like yours to help also counteract some of these negative effects that AI may be having on communities like West Bloomfield?
It's funny, I was just looking at that today, like, hey, what's available? Companies are putting this training out for law enforcement. Really, what I found was how law enforcement can use AI to, for administrative purposes or even down to report writing to make the job easier, which, agree with it or not, it's there, it's happening. I think that, I guess to answer your question, I'm not really aware of any training that exists right now or that I've seen recently that would, give us some kind of investigative tools to investigate this better. I think that we here at this police department and the investigators that we have here in the Detective Bureau, we're all pretty aware of how this stuff works. We're younger, we grew up with this, we know kind of what the future holds for AI. And so I'm going to keep an eye out, but yeah, I don't know of anything right now.
Yeah, still early on with this becoming more easily accessible for people across all different sectors, whether it be businesses, whether it be everyday citizens like you and I, or it be these scammers that tend to be a little bit more on the cutting edge of these technologies and figure out how to do some of these scams early on before law enforcement and everybody else catches up to them, and then it all evens out relatively quickly. Detective Pacheco, with all of that being said, if someone does believe that they've taken your advice from today or other advice that they found about counteracting some of these scams that may arise or misinformation campaigns that may arise with the advent of more advanced AI, should they believe that they've fallen victim to that or they've been targeted by AI, what steps can they take with their local police department to report that and maybe begin some sort of investigation into who may be behind it?
A lot of times with these cases, time is of the essence. You have to report it immediately. A lot of people, start off with like, I'm really sorry to bother you with this, this has happened to me. But at the end of the day, we're here to serve the public. If it's important to you, it's important to us. And we want to help you. That's why we exist. And you need to report, anything to us right away. If you think you're being victimized or anything like that, please do it right away. because in a lot of these situations, especially as it pertains to money and the different forms that we've seen people here in West Bloomfield send that money, time is of the essence. You need to report it to us right away so that we can start the investigation and hopefully maybe seize the funds and try to get those back to you to make you whole as part of the investigation. Certainly, we don't exist just to recover your money. At the end of the day, we'd like to get somebody criminally charged for what they've done to you. But again, report it to us right away. If your family member is elderly, it's awesome if you can bring them in and help explain kind of what happened so that we can get on our right way.
More information on West Bloomfield PD on Facebook. You can also go to wbtownship.org and contact the police department by their non-emergency number if you need additional advice on this or other matters that may affect you here in the greater West Bloomfield area. Detective Pacheco, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
And that takes us to the end of another show and another week with the Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests for stopping by and for everybody on the Splash Live team for helping to make this show possible. I've been your host, Jake Schaff, live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.